Hello everybody. I'm going to talk to you about the real meaning of the ordinary deck of playing cards. Quote unquote ordinary. Now, you've seen the playing cards, I'm sure, and in that case you know that there are 52 cards in the deck. Just like there's 52 weeks in the year. Okay? There's 4 suits, right? There's the spades, then there are diamonds, and there are clubs, and there are hearts. There's 4 suits, just like there's 4 seasons in the year. There's 13 cards in each suit, right? From ace to king. There's 13 cards. And there are 13 weeks in each of the 4 seasons. Now, if you add up all these numbers, where, the ace is worth 1, then you have the face numbers, 2 through 10. The jack is worth 11, the queen is worth 12, and the king is worth 13. So you add up these numbers of all the 4 suits, 1 through 13, all the way through, and you get 364. The Joker is the 53rd symbol, and his value is himself plus all the 4 suits together, divided by all the 4 suits that he represents. The Joker can impersonate any of the other suits, any of the cards in the suit at any time. So his numeric value is himself plus all the other 4 suits together, divided by all the 4 suits that he represents. For you mathematics people out there, that's 5 over 4. Maybe you didn't do well in fractions. Doesn't matter. 5 over 4 reduces to 1 1/4. Put him back in the deck. 1 1/4 plus 364. We get 365 1/4. It's the days of the year. The Joker is like the anomaly that balances the system, almost like a leap year. So what you may never have known is that these cards are mathematically equivalent to our calendar year. If you can imagine putting a binding on the side, then we have a book of symbols, a little book of symbols that represents the seasons and cycles of our life, the seasons and cycles of the earth as it rotates around the sun. The 4 seasons and 13 weeks in each of the seasons. There's also 13 lunar cycles each year that are 4 weeks long. So this is a little book that represents the seasons and cycles of our life on Earth. Nobody knows where it's from, really. Wikipedia says ancient Egypt, ancient China. The oldest surviving manuscript that we have about the real meaning of these cards says that they come from Atlantis, as in the lost continent of Atlantis. So you've got this little book with an imaginary binding on it. You take the binding off, and what we have are the loose leaves of a book, which is important because this book moves around. It doesn't have a fixed order of pages like the books that we know. In this book, the cards shuffle. Every year there's new cards in a new sequence in a new order. So that's why we can't have a binding on this book. But if you realize that it is a book, then you can understand that this is the book of life. This is none other than the ancient mystical book of life, the same book of life that's referred to in the Bible more than 20 times. There's all these references to it about being blotted out in the book of life and judged according to what we've done in the book of life, like this. Based just on the mathematics, we each have 13 cards in our own life path. Based just on the mathematics of your date of birth. You have a birth symbol plus 12 other cards to play. It's interesting because it's a little bit like Jesus plus the 12 disciples. We have a birth symbol which represents our consciousness, and then we have 12 other symbols that support us or that indicate different aspects of our journey that we're here to unfold. And it's where we get expressions like play the cards we've been dealt, or play our cards right, All of that comes from these. And it tickles me because once upon a time I was in training to be a Roman Catholic priest. And now I've come all the way around, come full circle, and I'm doing what gypsies used to do. Once upon a time, the Roman Catholic Church called this the Devil's Picture Book. That's what the church called it, and people were persecuted for reading it. And now I'm doing the same thing that once was persecuted for. And I do it because I've never found anything as accurate or as helpful for finding the meaning of our life. And ironically enough, it forms the foundation of our entire Western spiritual tradition. It forms the basis of Kabbalah. It forms the basis of Hermetic philosophy. It forms the basis of Gnostic philosophy. And it forms the basis of our Bible as well. And yet, it was persecuted as the Devil's Picture Book, when in reality, it's the Book of Life. In it, we can find clearly who we are meant to be in this lifetime, what our gifts are, what our challenges are, how we are in relationships, how to have happy relationships, what our abundance is made of, how to find our true abundance, what our shadow side looks like. That's the part of us that we're afraid of, so we can see our shadow for the first time, perhaps, and see then how to bring forth the gift out of our shadow. All of it is laid out in the cards. And this is something that I can show you when we do a full reading, or if you want to order a report to see the full dimensions of your life path. Thank you, everyone. If you want to find an extended reading on your birth card, there are videos below which will show you a more extended reading on your birth card once you find out what it is by checking your date of birth to find your birth symbol. Okay, enjoy, everyone, and good luck playing your cards right.